Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. So today I want to review the docu-series on Kanye on Netflix. So what I found interesting was really the story of how it all came together. The cameraman, Cootie, actually, produced a show called Zero TV on a public access channel in Chicago that would cover hip hop in Chicago. And he kind of, among a lot of the people he was interviewing, he interviewed Kanye and really saw a lot of talent in him and actually made the move from Chicago to New York to document Kanye's early journey. So shows a lot about him and recognizing talent, especially at that time because Kanye was just a producer and wasn't known at all for his rapping. I think what's interesting about this journey with Kanye is, an interesting journey with a lot of entrepreneurs is that, or people doing side hustles, is like having a main source of income. So Kanye's main source throughout this time, in Chicago and then his move to New York, is producing. And that's how he's able to, pay rent and all that. And I think that's an important point and lesson to make for anyone pursuing entrepreneurship or side hustles, is having, some way to make money. What the producing also does is it gives him, the contact info and relationships with some of the best rappers in the game at the time. And I think that's also invaluable because making those connections, especially at Rockefeller Records, is, was really crucial in his career. I really enjoyed episode 1 and 2. I think, 1 especially talks about like the journey and the story before, he was known, before he had a big ego, things like that. And it shows the hard journey that it was, a lot of the people at Rockefeller Records not taking him seriously in terms of wanting to be a rapper. Like there's a scene that he goes literally bum rushes, Rockefeller Records office and plays his music, and but nobody's giving him any, credit for being a good rapper. I think it was cool seeing that adversity made him hungrier, and he spent $33,000 of his own money to shoot a music video, to kind of get his career going when, the record, company he had signed to, Rockefeller Records, wasn't giving him any set date on when he could release his album. And that kind of led Dame and all those guys at Rockefeller Records to kind of set a date, and I think through it all, it's, for anybody going after their dreams, it's the idea to have belief in self and the aspirations that you have. I think the impact of record companies shows in this documentary. Not only the approval, of getting signed by a label with Jay-Z and Dame Dash, but just the money, the marketing budget to work on, music videos and things like that. And it's really interesting to have all the footage of like other record companies that passed on him as well. That was probably another lesson that for me was like, it's so cool to have this documented, his young career. There's so many different scenes, but like, him walking through Times Square and no one recognizing him. His interactions with his mom, at his mom's apartment and house and things like that. Even, you know, working with like some of the young artists at that time, they were young then, Pharrell, Ludacris, John Legend, like dapping up Jay-Z at a party, his dentist visits, like all this like content is just like priceless, you never think you'd ever get that type of content of Kanye's. And speaking of the dentist, like you see, I think his work ethic is crazy. He works, he's working like, I don't know what, like a week later after his car crash. And I think the main thing that you see here is just like, he is a genius creatively, whatever you think about him, and he's done a lot that not all of us agree with, in terms of the way he handled Taylor Swift, running for president, things like that, but creatively he is very talented. I think the second episode and, kind of the end of that first kind of show Kanye, after he, releases his first album and it's really successful, kind of getting big really quickly. And it's kind of sad to see, Cootie stops shooting him day to day, and he doesn't even like go on like tours with him. And I think Cootie goes to like his after party Grammy show in '06 after he wins a lot of, I think, best rap album with College Dropout, and he's so drunk that he's messing up Cootie's name and calling him Chike and things like that. It was the director. There's an aspect of, it was an interesting perspective change for me. Kanye talks about, having confidence in who you are. He would say, I believe I'm the greatest, and not like, I don't know, but like, he was saying it in the way of just acknowledging greatness, as what it is. I think what's also interesting is just kind of seeing the impact of his mom. His mom really kept him grounded, and I think kept him humble and well. And she unfortunately passes. And I think that changed him a lot, They were doing a lot of things together, with the foundation and stuff like that. And a lot of the things in terms of mental health, obviously there might have been there, prior to his mom's passing, but I think those got really bad after. It was interesting watching it because he kept working. He was on tour in like Europe, like a week after the funeral. Not sure if that was the healthiest decision, but yeah, and then I think the third episode, obviously Cootie stops filming him after I think 02, 03-ish time period, day to day. So they get reconnected in 2014, and Cootie, shoots Kanye at various different points, in China and things like that. The third episode shows modern day Kanye. I mean, I think the first two were more inspiring and for people going after their dreams, very valuable in terms of believing in yourself and doing all that you can. Obviously the third is still important because that's present day Kanye and what he's done, 2014 to 2022, It shows some of his, the bipolar, shows living in Wyoming, running for president. for me, it really showed the emphasis of your inner circle and the people that are surrounding you. Just because I think it's important for them as the only people to hold him accountable and keep his ego in check or call him out on certain things. Um, I mean, overall, I think even from all three episodes kind of show you the importance of faith and God to him. As a casual fan, it's not something I knew of as much. Obviously I saw him speak about it, but I didn't realize how important it was to him. And, obviously now the name Donda makes a lot more sense. That's his mom's name. But yeah, I think that's my thoughts on the Kanye doc. Let me know if you have any thoughts yourself that you wanted to talk about or any points you disagree with my take. But definitely recommend it for people, especially entrepreneurs going after their dreams, to just see the, kind of his growth from ground zero to, Grammy winner. It's pretty cool. Want to also just recap my week. As you saw, I got back into more exercising with, since the food poisoning. I think the lesson I learned this week is like you don't always have the energy or want to go exercise, but it always feels good after. And then this weekend, you know, did dinner at Ixtapa, went to the Burren, which is live music, got a haircut, there was a Babson NBA get together, so it was a good weekend, restful weekend, worked on a lot of Grateful Living stuff, and yeah, hope you guys are doing well.